Hello, this is Krystal, and thank you for joining me for this week's First Chapter Friday. Today I will be wrapping up our dinosaur theme as winter reading ends tomorrow. So if you've not already finished logging your 600 minutes, please go ahead and get those minutes into Reader Zone so that you'll be eligible to attend our pizza party tomorrow afternoon at noon and the grand prizes. Okay, so today I'm reading from Homer Hickam's The Dinosaur Hunter. This is available through Evergreen. I did have to get it from another library. But again, if you're not familiar with how Evergreen works, you just place a hold on it. It gets shipped to our library. You can pick it up from our library. You can drop it back off at a library. And then we ship it back to the other library. And I just said library a lot. So I'm going to start writing. Chapter 1. Old Bill Coulter used to say a quiet day in Fillmore County is a temptation to God, and sure enough, come sundown, after a day of blue skies and fair winds, distant pulses of lightning began to play along the horizon, heralding a big storm on its way. Our barn cats, Rage and Fury, came scratching and begging for entrance, and when I answered the door, they flew past me and disappeared inside. Those old cats weren't scared of much, but when a real thunder thumper was bearing down on us, they seemed to prefer the doubtful safety of my dented old trailer to their sturdy barn. Since I was suspicious of mice under my refrigerator, they were welcome. Just hold it down, boys, I admonished them. This old cowboy needs his sleep, which, because of the time of year, was the unvarnished truth. Since the heifers had started dropping their calves in March, sleep was a precious thing on the square sea, and I sure didn't plan on losing any shut-eye over bad weather, especially since there wasn't a thing I could do about it. I shooed the cats off my bunk and climbed under the covers, intent on proving that old saw that cowboys could sleep through anything but a stampede. The storm hit us around midnight with a flash of lightning and a mighty rumble of thunder. Then came the rain with a steady rattle on the skin of my metallic domicile, while my heavenly electricity flew through the air. The next boom of thunder shook the trailer so hard, the door on my little microwave oven flew open. Rage and Fury jumped up on my bed and hissed at me like it was my fault Montana was trying to kill us. I yelled at the cats, and they slunk off while I pulled the covers over my head, doing my best to ignore the storm, which kept banging away. I might have succeeded, except for the vision of a small, black Angus heifer formed in my mind. Some bull had nailed her late when we weren't looking, and she was about to drop her calf. My boss lady had advised me to keep a sharp lookout for trouble. Every 2 hours on this one, Mike, Jeanette Coulter had commanded. She's got a small pelvis, and that looks to be a big calf. Lying there beneath the covers, all nice and cozy, I realized I had failed to check on that little heifer even once, mainly because I'd spent the day focused on Jeanette's pride and joy, a John Deere tractor, which had thrown a cog. I took an entire minute trying to talk myself out of getting up, but I finally gave in. That almost mama might be out there in awful pain. I had to check on her, storm or no storm. The cats watched me from atop the refrigerator while I pulled on my rubber boots and slung on my yellow slicker. Hold down the fort, boys, I said, then pushed out into the howling rain and wind. My trailer was slanted down a dirt road about a quarter mile from the main house, so by the time I got to what we call the turnaround, I was muddy to my knees, soaked to the bone, and generally miserable. Another way of putting that, I was a cowboy ready to go to work. I headed over to the holding pen with my fingers crossed that all was well, but it wasn't. In fact, it was a pretty desperate situation. And if you would like to know what that desperate situation is, you can check this book out, The Dinosaur Hunter by Homer Hickam. Please join me here next week as I read from Toni Morrison's Beloved. Thank you and have a great week.